So, one of the things that we see in
Mm.
our privileged position as coaches in the hair and beauty industry is we see ebbs and flows and traits and trends. And there's some really obvious ones that everyone's aware of. And that would be, for an example, um, how busy December is because everyone wants their services before December. And then there's a slightly less common one, which is the last week in November and the first week in December can be quiet because everyone's jammed in to everyone's jammed into those couple of weeks in the end of December. Then a really obvious one is that January can be quieter
Yeah.
for a lot of salons, or the middle of the year slump. June, July, August, particularly if you're down on the south coast where we are, where it's so cold you freeze your ghoulies off leaving the house. But there's some less common trends that sneak up and bite you in the ass, and we're seeing the wrath of that at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah,
Um,
we are, Jay. And I've had so many conversations in the last 2 weeks with clients about clients aren't spending money. This has happened, that's happened. And when you start to look upstream at the numbers and when you start to look at what's happening, there's like this downturn since Christmas. And there seems to be a bit of a process around it. So depending on how often your clients come in, like it might be at a 4 to 6 week point, it might be 12 weeks. Like
yeah.
depending on hair or a clinic or beauty salon. And I think what we're seeing is, when they say something that happened ages ago often reflects now, what we have seen, and I've heard so many salon owners say it, is I was shut. And I'm like, why? So not just public holidays. Someone said to me the other day, we were closed for 3.5 weeks. So if you're, let's just hypothetically say a business is break even is 10,000 a week, then where do you find that 30,000? And if you made it at Christmas, you've just broken even. So you're behind before you get started at the start of the year. And there's a lot of that happening in Feb and March. And there's this almost like a rebound from Christmas. It's catching up with you and it's chasing you saying, where's the money for this? Where's the money for that? And when you start to look at a salon's like figures, the things that's coming up for us that we see is there's still a lot of people coming through the door and there's still a lot of new clients coming into the business, but they're not really looking at that. They're just looking at there's no money in the bank or there's not enough to pay a certain bill and it feels tight.
I think, um, and I get it, like there's definitely a trend of back in the day. You worked in between Christmas and New Year's.
Mm.
And regardless of whether it was busy or not, well, they're your rostered days. That's just the way it works. And then over the course of the last 10, 15 years, it would have to be 10, 15 years, we only open 2 days in between Christmas and New Year. Now it's just one day and some people work, and now it's not at all, and now it's this and da 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 da. And I feel like it's snowballed to 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever.
Yes.
But I don't have a problem with that if you've got a truck reversing down your driveway with cash in it
Yeah.
to dump into your driveway. I think that if you're at the point where you can close, pay everyone comfortably, and
Yes.
you're either that or you've got an absolute rip snorting strategy in place to go, it costs me 30 grand to do that, but this strategy brings me in 30 grand. We're business is less forgiving than ever
Mm.
before. And maybe because you've done it last year, and I know we've spoken about this with one particular client in the last few months, is that it's something that she always had done, but the business after the year she had last year
Mm.
couldn't do it this year, couldn't sustain it. There was no money in the bank. So it's that, how do I take back something that I've given? And it can even be sometimes thinking outside the box of, okay, I've agreed to close for 10 days. What am I going to do to offset that missing $15,000? Because
Yeah.
it's not good enough to go, bank accounts are shit. I can't afford to close, but oh well,
Hmm.
doesn't work like that. It's too
And
much pressure on your family. How are
it's
you gonna?
definitely it's too much pressure everywhere. And I think maybe you need to think about like I feel like there's even COVID closure and reopen. And yes, we might have had less team or whatever the circumstances were, but salons are still opening 3 to 4 days a week. And I think you pay rent for seven. Why are we not renegotiating this conversation and thinking about what we can do different? So there's a little bit of that. The other thing is, I'll just go back to what it costs to open your salon door. Let's just hypothetically say it's 10,000 a week,
Yeah.
just for even numbers, and we times that by 52 weeks, it's 520,000. So if we were to think about, yes, we're going to close, and that's okay, we can close, and then we think of public holidays and Easter and the long weekends that come up and they bite you and you think, well, that's a Monday and we don't open, so it doesn't matter. It does because often people go away longer days and it's shorter weeks. So it reduces your cash flow. So if that was a $520,000 break even for the year, why don't then we divide it by 48 weeks? So it gives us 4 weeks up free of maybe we close for a week at Christmas, we've got a bit of downtime at Easter, public holidays, and that works out then to like 10,833 a week.
Oh,
So
I'm gonna fact check that.
yeah, check
Be
it.
I'd like to
Yeah.
be correct and you're wrong for the first time in my bloody life. So what was 520,000 divided by 48 weeks is it's 10,833 actually.
That's what I said, 33 and 33 cents. So when you think about that though as a whole, you could maybe say, well, I want to do it over like 47 weeks, or maybe, and what it's doing is it might bring your break even up 1,000 a week, but it allows for this closure. And you need to put that additional money into another bank so that you've got that buffer there to say, okay, well, that's my close account. So that means when you close, that you've got money in there churning.
Yeah.
So you've got to think about all the factors of how this could be mitigated. And really, when we look at the numbers, there's people coming through the door of your business every week. It's just this closure is affecting people down the track.
I think that's one pattern. You know, people can sometimes get to March. It's what date is it today? The 10th of March, recording this episode. Some people can get to March and the flow-on effect of being closed for Christmas is a
Yep,
couple of client cycles away. So
correct.
like but we're still feeling it now. You know, it can take until that first quarter, January, February, March, for you to regain a consistent normal rhythm. But
Yes.
it's not. And I remember when Lisa was coaching me, I don't know what we were talking about, but I said, oh, we're coming into June, July, August, like, you know, that slow period. And she said, why would you let that happen?
Hmm.
And I said, I don't
True.
let that happen. It just happens. And she said, but
Hmm.
you know it's going to happen. Why don't you put something in place so that you don't have the drop off or a promotion or a focus? And I said, oh, well, yeah, I don't. I never have. Okay. So we had enough time up our sleeve to put some promotions in place. They were very old school and very tacky back then, but you know, did she ever make you do the yellow and purple balloons in your salon? That
No.
purpose? Um, we would fill the salon with yellow and purple balloons, and clients would go, "Oh, is it someone's birthday?" And say, "No, we're just focusing on for our blonde clients that purple counteracts yellow, and it's a constant reminder that you need to tone your hair and you need to use blonde shampoo and blah blah blah." So anyway, but you know, it bloody worked.
Yeah, and you know what? It
We
was
sell
relevant.
truckloads of blonde shampoo.
Yeah, and it's relevant at the time. So I think
Yeah.
it is looking, isn't it? It's that peaks and troughs of your business. If you're not identifying that, like when have you sat down and looked at each month and when does it drop off and why? Is it when team are away or is there some other pattern? If you're looking at that, then you need to work out what do you need to put in place when that happens.
Yeah. So if you're June, let's say hypothetically, you know, you need to do 10,833.
Mhm.
But in June, you're typically 10% lower. So instead of doing 44,000, you usually do 38. So you're already behind the eight ball. But
Mhm.
also, Susie is on holidays for 2 weeks and she brings in $3,000 a week.
Yep.
So you're not just now at 38,000 or whatever I said before,
Yeah.
at
You'd
34 or 32 because Susie Magoozy is not going to be there. So you're almost one whole week of breaking even behind in June. So you could sit on these bloody things, sit on your hands and do sweet FA. Like, throw Marie Drever under the bus. You've been a business owner and a coach for long enough. I don't think this shouldn't stump you. What would you do if you recognised a couple of months in advance that you need to pump in an extra 10 grand in a month
Mhm.
to reach your normal revenue target? What would you do?
Where do I start, Jay? The list is long. So VIP nights, I would run, depending on whether your hair, beauty, I think you could do an extension evening. You could be doing like a winter promotion on winter color, getting people into the business. We could be doing events where we're doing like laser, introducing a service. Maybe you've had it a while, but clients don't know that you have it. So you could do an intro to that service. You could be doing like intros for the month of June from one service to another in the business internally. You could do external advertising on social media to a certain event, promo, whatever it might be. I think it's marrying it all up and saying, even if you just had one focus and put it everywhere, then you would absolutely nail that month. There's no doubt.
Back when Olaplex first came in,
Yep.
we did the opening order and it was a bit of a soft start because to go from doing $20 treatments to what was it, $85, we thought it would go bang because we went to this big event in Melbourne and drank the Kool-Aid and whatever. So a couple of months later, we came up with a concept of let's do a treatment card. So it
Mm-hmm.
was 199. I can't remember how many you got. Let's say it was four treatments at
Yeah.
$199. So it was pretty generous.
Yep.
And at about the 6 week mark, we hit 10 grand.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah. And then actually, you know how we did the 10K challenge? So it's bringing $10,000 worth of revenue in a 6 week period. That was born because of that concept.
Mm.
Because I then thought, if I, as a business owner, have the skill to generate $10,000 off one failing area of my business in a 6 week period, my time is worth more on those strategies than it is worth working on the floor.
Yeah, and I think even if you had a focus on treatment, some when we see a lot of salon owners, hair treatments, they're hardly doing any, and they'll say, "Oh, we put it in the color," and I think we'll do another one at the basin. Like, there's ways that you can increase revenue in a like a 6 week, 8 week period if you were to just focus on that one thing. And maybe for beauty, it's enhancements. Like, how many enhancements are you doing? Like I said to someone the other day, we've got like the retail challenge going at the moment. When you finish this, do an enhancement challenge. You do that for 6 weeks and that'll turn into like a pot of gold. She goes, "Oh, that's so good, Marie." And I said, "Yeah, well, these are the things that we've learned, but that we know they work. You just don't look at these peaks and troughs of your business. Like, make it happen."
Mm. So
Yeah.
if a skin clinic was to do an extra 5 to 6 skin needling services a week, this is
Yep.
with a small team,
Hmm.
and you were to sustain that for 6 weeks, that's 10 grand just in skin needling.
Yeah.
You know, the promotion could be from
Should I
now
check
until,
that? Should I get
pardon?
should I get my calculator out and check that?
No, because I just checked it then. 5 to 6, 5.57.
Oh, that's
You
good. Yeah,
smart
cool.
Alec.
But
Um,
like we talk about memberships, like there's
yeah.
so much not only you could introduce, but if you have them, who doesn't have one? Like if you were to send a message to clients in regards to memberships and they don't have any form of membership, like if you booked 10 people in and did a personalized membership, bang, there's some dollars.
Mm, yeah.
Like you're not, it's being strategic about what you're doing.
I think that my summary is strategy.
Strategy.
Planning ahead and
Yep.
strategy. And it's one thing that we've incorporated into our clients' planning is when you set your financial targets for the next 3 months, we do
Yep.
need to have a look at last year. What were the patterns? Like the good and the bad, because you want to grab onto the good and, replicate that from last year, but also looking forward to going, okay, is June usually a slow month? Is Susan McGoozy on holidays? What's a service you want to grow? Um, I remember at our planning that we just did in Melbourne, there was a table at the front. It was the naughty table. Um, Amanda, Daniela. Uh,
Yeah.
they weren't naughty. They're just having fun.
Yeah.
Lots
That's
of
good.
talking.
We like that.
But I'm pretty sure it was Daniela said, "Oh yeah, that month, that's a little bit slower, or that's a bit funky, or so and so's on holidays. I'm
Yeah.
going to do my retail offer there. Simple. That always brings in
That's
thousands of extra. Yeah, I'm going to write that down. That's what I'm going to do that month." And then
Yeah, and I think it is, isn't it? It's that strategy that you find that you think that worked. Let's do it, and let's put it on repeat in that month too.
And I think that the topic of conversation was, what is that? And she said, I just do 20% off across the
Yeah,
board for a week. And one of the girls, which is, it's a good comment, was something along the lines of, um, do you feel like that, like, diminishes the value of the product,
yeah,
or do you feel like then clients will wait for the next special? And she said, no, because we don't do it often, and it's not like a Black Friday thing, or it's not a Mother's Day thing. I just do it randomly
yeah,
as I need it. So it's not like they can plan ahead and go, oh, when are you going to do that promotion? You know,
yeah.
because
No,
you don't want to do that. You don't want to do a 20% off every 3 months, because why wouldn't you wait?
yeah,
Of course
that's
you would
it.
wait. Um, so yeah, it doesn't have to be complex. And I think the best strategies, what's that saying? Simple scales. So if your strategy's simple, it's
Yeah.
easy for the client to understand, and it's just doing it on repeat at a big on a bigger scale.
Yeah, that's right. And I think what's coming from this, Jay, is conversations that we've had with clients is the downturn didn't happen now. It's actually something that happened in the past that got you to there, and don't let it happen again. So, what do you need to do differently so it doesn't happen? Whether it is opening less, so sorry, not having as much time off, closing less should be the word, closing less. Maybe it is strategizing in quieter months. So, look at your peaks and troughs of business so you can see where that is, and look at your numbers, because your numbers don't lie. They tell a story about what you're not looking at. And if you've got, like one of our clients today, she had 20 lost clients a week. And she's got a lot of clients coming into the business. But even if only 10 of those came back at like $150, that's like $1,500 a week. That's 6 grand a month. You'd focus on the lost clients.
Absolutely. But it's not sexy.
No, it's not. And I think
Yeah.
the thing is, what do they say? Simplicity times consistency equals results. So
Yeah.
if you did that every week on repeat, you wouldn't have that problem.
No. Yeah. So that old saying, uh, what's the oh no. See, you're gone. You've got it. You've come out with all of the impressive statistics and numbers and analogies, and I've tried to do one to look smart like you, and I've ballsed it up and I haven't even started. But it's something like it's something like the the second best time, no, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The second best time is now.
That's the one, Jay.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah.
Woo! And I've refused to re-record episodes or to edit. So there you go.
That's
But
it.
it's true. There's no time like the present. You've got to start now with some of those tasks. I can
Definitely.
guarantee you that, if like good old Karen Piper, I think I've told this story in about 3 episodes now. When Karen was renovating her salon, years and years ago, um, I said, well, while you're closed and the tradies are in there and you're sitting at home with your thumb up your bum doing nothing, why don't you get a keratin smoothing promotion together?
Yeah.
Contact all the people that have had keratin smoothing in the past. Contact all the people that are top spenders, have color and carts, have this, have that, that fit that ideal client, and bloody call center Karen, pick up the bloody phone. And she was about half, and the lost clients, because she was a bit resistant to do that because, it's awkward, you know. Hey, you used to come to me, you don't anymore. Where the hell are you? Like, did we screw your hair? So she had this keratin smoothing campaign. She had this lost client. campaign, and gee, she nailed it, 10 out of 10. And she
Mm.
got a couple of days in, and she said, I've made more money being call center Karen than I can ever make on the
Yeah.
floor doing cuts and colors. I said, there you go, you've
So,
made yourself redundant. But also, um, her lost clients weren't burnt. They were busy. So she
yeah,
was just saying, hello, do you want an appointment? They go, actually, I do, thank you.
yeah, it's the finer things that you do when you slow down, what they say, slow down to speed up. It's the slow down and you look at all of that and you think it actually wasn't that hard for Karen to do it, but look at the results that she got. So yeah, it's looking at everything, isn't it? And thinking about how do I need to do it differently so I don't ever have downturns. So hopefully something's come up today that you're going to go, yeah, I need to do that differently.
And I suppose leaving on one maybe thing that can land poorly with some people and feel like it's controversial or spicy or whatever it may be.
Yep.
Um, and I think we only say things like this with love in our heart and genuine care and transparency, integrity, honesty, that if you're not prepared to do a lot of the things that we talk about, goal setting, planning, one-on-one meetings, prepping your day, following up your lost, having a marketing plan, being a confident leader, holding people accountable, um, you've got to question whether being a business owner is for you. You do.
Oh, couldn't
Because
agree.
shit's hard. Business is hard even for someone. I classify myself as an intelligent person and a very good business owner, and it's hard for me. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
very
it's
clever, and it's hard. It's really fucking hard. So I
yeah,
think
you,
if you can earn more money
mm,
working for wages, do that. Why would you
mm.
put yourself through it? You know?
It's
But
true. You need lots of resistance, don't you? Resilience, sorry,
yeah,
resilience to be a business owner. And resilience is, I feel, what's kept you, me, as business owners for so long, because I don't think there's ever been a year, a week, a month that you go, oh, it's just brilliant. Like something happens each and every day. Sometimes you can go weeks, but you've got to have that resilience to keep going. And that is the absolute business owner is just to keep going. It's that resilience, isn't it?
it's just not as forgiving as what it used to be.
No.
And it's not, back in the old days, and I wish we could get back to it. No, it's different. It's different now.
Right.
So your role has to be different. The
Yeah.
generations are different. What makes people tick is different. So we need to step up and learn and go with that because you try to go against it, you're going to be pushing shit uphill. And you know what? Unfortunately, the downside of that is when some people hold on too long and they're inflexible and they don't change, then they get to the point where they close up shop or they have
Yeah.
to give the lease over or they sell the business for a loss. And you know what? I think for every business owner that is resistant to change and balls it up, it's creating an opportunity for someone that actually really wants to make it work.
Yeah. Couldn't
And
agree more.
the reality is that odds are stacked against you. What are those statistics here? I want you to not know the answer to something by the time we end this podcast episode. Can you remember any of the statistics of how many businesses die in the ass within the first 12 months? It's really high. Like it's like
Like,
90% or 80% fail in the first 12 months. And don't Google it because that's cheating.
no, I
Um,
don't remember that, but I know it's fine. I can't
it's bloody
remember.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, it's like 95% at the 3 year mark, you know. So just because you've survived for 10 years doesn't mean you need to keep going. It's
Mm.
you got to know when you've got to get off the bandwagon. It's it's a tough gig, but if you want it, you can make it work if you're flexible and resilient. Hmm.
I Googled it. 45% of new businesses fail within the first 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was higher than that, but
Yeah.
a bloody lot. Let's
It's a
say that.
lot. Yeah.
It's a lot, and uh, yeah, I think I often get very frustrated with the Facebook groups that you purposely stay out of. People
Mm.
whinging about shit. I think that's not your problem, girlfriend.
Yeah.
The world isn't your problem. The economy isn't your problem. Your team isn't your problem. You're the problem.
Mm.
And I think the quicker that you look inwards at yourself, the faster that you'll be able to turn things around and grow. You're the problem. Yep. So anyway, let's end on a positive note after that. What should we say positive? Well, there's 65% that don't fail. Oh no, 55%.
5%. But
55%.
I think as an overall, just I think take this information and think about what can you do different. So not only that you hit break even every week, that you go beyond and that you have money in the bank so you don't have to worry about when you close, when we have an Easter weekend and think, oh, it's a quiet week. You can you will be able to manage that if you think about putting your break even into like 48 weeks and have that money pushed aside, what you need for that rainy day when you close or have a little bit of downturn. But think about what you can do to pump those months up where you've got those troughs where they're not so good months and what you can do different.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
Hmm.
share one little thing as my inspirational close,
Okay.
which isn't very inspirational. I was talking to Jeremy on the plane yesterday, um, and I don't know why. We're talking about stock and ordering and budgeting and all that type of stuff. And he said, um, I think that a lot of your clients would get caught out because they're ordering stock on the 30 or 60-day payment arrangement. He said, I order the stock and pay for it. He said, so I don't carry debt because that's a form of debt. And he said, and if there's not enough money to order the stock, I don't order the stock.
Mm.
Whereas
Mm.
otherwise, if you put it on if you can't really afford it, but you put it, yeah, I've got 30 days to pay for it. What's saying that you're going to have the money in 30 days? You don't have
Yeah.
it today. So he
Yeah.
said that it's a luxury for people that have got lots of money in the bank account. And he said, and I've just got into a habit of just paying for it as I go. I
Yeah.
don't know. And this is coming from the same idiot that the gas company owes him. He's in credit with Telstra, gas, electricity, bloody.
Oh my, Jay.
I know, whatever. Some people aren't that organized, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's something in that. Anyway, that's enough.
All right. Have a
Like,
lovely
subscribe, comment, share, all the things. Bye
love
bye.
you. Thank you.